Publishing an app to the App Store is hard, right? A lot of people fail and get rejected, which is why I'm spending a lot of time making sure I tick all the boxes and get it right first time. I'm going to show you what I've done and what I've set up to prepare for this, starting with the website. I got a really cool tech stack, which would be interesting to look at, such as using Notion as my backend for my blog database. So anytime I want to update my blog, I just update the pages in Notion in a database and it will sync. I've got a little revalidation webhook on that, but I'll show you all that in a bit. So let me show you the app. This is the website I've been working on so far, right? The reason I started working on the website now, and I haven't published the app yet, is because you need to have terms and conditions and a privacy policy before you could submit to Apple. So what I've done is I've added those down there on the page, but I thought I might as well finish off the website as well, right? So I've kind of set this up, and I quite like it so far. I'm a bit hit and miss on the font. What I did was I went to this website here, which is called Font Pair, and I found a nice pairing of font, and then that's what I just used for this website. And you can see I've just got the basic stuff here, downloaded in the App Store, got a nice little header showing what my app is. I found a really cool iPhone mockups template in Figma, which is this, which is really, really cool because all you need to do is update these four in the top left, right? And all these little previews update for you. So you can see I've selected this one here and exported it. It's really, really awesome because that saved me a bunch of time developing them myself. So I've got a little header there. I've got a few little widgets showing off what it syncs to, different themes, the features of the app, and testimonials are a really good thing to have, so I've heard. And this is awesome. So a little blog post. This is what syncs to Notion, right? So if I go into my Notion database here, you can see I've got this little test blog post. If I open that up, you can see I've got a bunch of different parameters here. I've got the featured image from Pexels. Selecting the featured here sets it as the number one large featured here. And if I choose one of these other options here, 2, 3, 4, 5, it'll go into the side here and show a list of the top 5 most popular posts. I'd like to automate that in the future, so it actually is the most popular posts, but it's all manual for now anyway. And of course, there's some categories: who wrote the blog, published and drafted, because what I can do is if I write myself a blog post in here, I can do it in draft and it won't update on the website. It's only when I set it to published, it will send a little webhook through Notion to then tell Next.js to revalidate the page. It'll update the blog post then and there automatically for me. You can see how fast and snappy it is as well. It's really, really good. So there isn't too much to the website right now. I've just got kind of a help section, about, and of course the blog. But let me show you what else I'm using the Notion database for, right? If we go back into Notion, you can see I've got TapCal feedback here. Someone's already left me feedback. If that's you, you know who you are. Thank you very much. But this is my app, right? Let's minimize a couple of these. It's quite pink. Let's set it to our system default, just because that's quite nice. And let's make it light mode, why not? So if we go into the settings now, I actually have a little feedback section down here, and we could put something in here like, this is test feedback. And if I submit this on the app here now, it'll see how quick that was. I literally pressed it and it instantly sunk to the Notion database. So anyone that leaves a little message in there, I can see features, bug fixes, and updates, and hopefully this is used, because that would really help me out, and also the people that use the app. I've also added in a little bit of rate limiting. It's going through a Cloudflare worker, so you can't just spam it. If you try to send another one, it says you have to wait. All the authentication goes through a Cloudflare worker, so it syncs through that, and then if it accepts it, I'll go to my database. This also stops a lot of like malicious people trying to send bad things into the database as well. And while we're here, let me show you a little bit more about the app, because I've got some cool features that I'm proud of. I wanted to build an app that was clean, sleek, modern, and easy to use, right? Because all the other calendar apps I've used before, they're just clunky. They're either like ugly, clunky, they're not very intuitive, or they're good. There's lots of features, but they're just outdated. This is super performant. I've really focused a lot of time on making it super snappy and optimized, as well as being lightweight, optimized, fast, and looking very clean, sleek, and sexy, if you can call an app sexy. The main reason I built this calendar app, though, is because I wanted a full month calendar view. A lot of the apps I looked at didn't really have this. There were a couple of them, but you had to pay for them outright, or they were just very limited and didn't do what I want. So I made a little widget here, right? And you can actually go back and forth. So you can go to the next month or the previous month, which is super, super convenient. You don't even have to open the app. Tapping on any day, of course, will open it. Tapping on the day again will bring up the add event. So hardly any taps to get things working, right? Which is another convenience of this app. You don't want to be doing 100 taps to do like the basic features. Once you type something in as well, I've got natural language in there. So you can type in something like dentist at 3 p.m. And what it'll do is it'll start updating it below in a little card. And you can keep going with different things in here and it'll populate it. And if you like what you see, you can just tap that and boom, you can see it automatically syncs down below and updates the time. The idea behind this is you're not going to waste all the time fiddling around, changing all the settings. It's super flexible with all different types of dates. Apple provides a little bit of natural language by default, but what I've done is I've modified it massively to add loads of extra little words in there that weren't being picked up before. But that's still a work in progress, and I'm going through all of the features here because ideally I'd want you just to talk into that naturally, and then it would update alerts, the repeating, possibly a calendar or the location in there, because it'd be super nice just to edit one field, right? And then you can see what you've done and confirm that. Let's just add this, and I can show you what you can do with the event. So if you click on an event here, you can hold your finger down on it, and it brings up a little pop-up menu, or just tap on it, brings up a little menu of the entire edit field. In the repeat section here, I got something really cool. So when you turn on the repeat, it tells you what it's doing. So repeats every 2 days. Maybe you want to go to weekly, you can choose the days of the week and it says repeats every 2 weeks and these days. So super clear, straightforward, tells you exactly what you're doing. Basically trying to make it super clean, super convenient and easy to understand everything you're doing. And of course, intuitive to use, so anybody can use it, right? But these are some basic features that you have in the calendar. Some other things that people like are themes. So I've created a wide range of themes. Like in here, you can customize the app theme. Let's set it to timeless. And then let's go to the widget theme. And maybe I want to make this lavender. If I go back, you can see we've got a lovely little timeless theme here. And then go back to the home screen, you can see now this is updated to a nice lavender theme. So it's super customizable, super friendly, and fun to play around with. And that was the goal I was going for here. There are a bunch of other things like turning off your visible calendars, changing the fonts of the app, updating the app icons. I'm going to basically try and get app icons for every theme I create. And then I'm not sure if it's too much, right? But if I allow users to create their own custom theme, which is kind of what I was going for here, allowing them to update every little part of it for like the text, the background. I'm not sure if that's too much though. Would that be too much as in like, it's going to confuse people, right? If there's too many settings, too many parameters, I think a lot of people might not like that. Whereas if it's, you choose a font, you click it, it's simple, it's easy, it doesn't overcomplicate things. It probably doesn't need to be complicated, right? But I am an absolute sucker for when it comes to like customizations. So I'm on the fence of adding a fully featured customizing theming option in there, or just kind of leaving it as like you can choose a theme by clicking on it. Of course, we have the natural language here. I made a nice little video at the top showing where it does so people can see, which is really cool. And I've added weather. So if you're planning, right, and you want to know what you're doing next Tuesday, and someone says, do you want to go for dinner? If you open your app, you can actually have a look in here and say, okay, look, on this day, I have the day off. So it's free and it's going to be raining. So maybe we don't want to do an outside activity. We can go for brunch or coffee somewhere, you know? Got a little today button. So when you click around, go to today, always jumps back to today. So you never get lost. And then there's also a bunch of little other features tucked around in here. You can customize the layout and feel of both the app and the widget settings. I haven't updated the little header image here, but I'll leave you to have a little poke around if you want to have a look. You can check the app out yourself. My website currently is this, which is the waitlist for TapCal. But soon, once I publish this now, I'm probably going to update it to be this page so I can submit it to Apple to get it approved, and then you'll be able to download it officially instead of joining the waitlist. So the waitlist, by the time you see this, probably isn't up anymore, but I'm going to be doing posts about this, and fingers crossed it gets approved soon. I'm going to do another video telling everyone that it's available, and if you're interested, check it out. If there's anything else in the video you want me to talk about, like the tech stack I used or how I build the app, let me know because I can do some follow-ups on it. But I hope you enjoyed what I've shown you because it's been really fun so far. And if you like this content, make sure you follow along because I do stuff like this all the time. Take care and I'll see you soon in another video.